Whenever a new Monster Hunter game comes out, everybody's asking the same question. Is this the Monster Hunter that I'm going to get into the series with? Is this game the one that will initiate me into this big world of fighting gigantic monsters, making clothes out of their parts? So in this video, we're going to talk about some features that I love for new players in Monster Hunter Rise. Features that I would have loved to see in Monster Hunter Generations or even Monster Hunter World. And together, I think we can even try to answer that question, is Monster Hunter Rise worth it for new players to play? If you'd like to see the different chapters that this video has been broken up into, check my description because I have laid them out and you can click around to your heart's content. It's very easy to get overwhelmed with all of the things Monster Hunter has to offer as a series in general. Most of the gameplay is shown off with multiple players fighting monsters, and usually it seems as though it's implied that you should have a group going in. And that does hold true for Monster Hunter Rise, but I do not think that means you can't enjoy the game alone. And that's actually the first feature I want to bring to your attention. Monster Hunter Rise, so far in my experience, has been a lot of fun to play solo. There haven't really been that many barriers to entry with the monsters. Granted, they're probably set to a lower difficulty because I'm playing alone, but that's just fine because they're just as gratifying to fight as they would be with a group. And it's great that these monsters are scaled down nicely because there still is a bit of a challenge going in. You still want to learn their moves, you still want to know what they do when they damage you. Does this monster poison me? Will this monster set me on fire? All of these things are things you'll still want to keep track of when playing Monster Hunter Rise. Do I encourage you to find friends to play with? Absolutely, but the game does have a matchmaking system that works pretty nicely. So when you unlock the Hunter's Hub, you can easily just fire up a quest and hopefully some people will join you and fight that monster with you. Moving on, let's talk about actual gameplay features that I think make Monster Hunter Rise really welcoming to new players. And the first feature is the map. Now, in previous Monster Hunter games, you're tasked with finding the monster, learning about their location, learning what they like, trying to find their food source, and maybe that'll lead you to the monster. And while this kind of tracking is kind of fun, sometimes it's just fun to fight the monster. Sometimes it's just fun to hunt the monsters in Monster Hunter. So Monster Hunter Rise gets out of your way and it shows you on the map where the monster is. Typically, if you haven't found a monster, it'll have a question mark. But once you meet that monster in future instances, you will see that monster's icon on the map when you load in. Now, as I said previously, you'd have to find the monster and then you'd also have to throw a paintball at them just to have them show up on the map. This might not sound annoying, but monsters move on when you're fighting them. They decide, hey, I'm out of here. I'm gonna run away from you. And when they do that, if you didn't paintball the monster in previous Monster Hunter games, you'd have to go find them again, see where they went, got really annoying, and sometimes the monsters would leave the area because you would take too long to find them. So Monster Hunter Rise, again, removes that roadblock and makes it easy to just track down the monsters and hunt them. Now you could say that removing the need to track down a monster oversimplifies the game, but I don't think that's the case because once you find these monsters, they're gonna kick your butt. So therein lies the fun, hunting the monsters, not necessarily tracking the monsters. Another feature that Monster Hunter Rise brings forward that I think welcomes new players nicely is the wire bug mechanic. Wire bugs are used in such a way that you're basically able to web sling around the map at ease. Of course, you're given a limited number of charges, but they recharge very quickly. And the reason wire bugs are such a big deal for me is because this opens up the world of vertical movement in Monster Hunter, which isn't typically something you can come across in previous titles. I think the closest thing you get to jumping is climbing up on a wall and then leaping off of it to hope and try to hit the monster. You can still do that in this game, but at least you have wire bugs to give you a chance at actually hitting the monster rather than hoping for the best. Having that kind of control is definitely new to the series, and it's really nice to see Capcom giving attention to the character's movement and giving the player a little more to do when it comes to verticality. And not to mention, using the wire bug is a lot of fun. You're basically Spider-Man and you don't even need a building to web sling against. But that's not even all wire bugs do. You can also lasso a monster and ride them to attack other monsters. This is a brand new feature in Monster Hunter Rise. You can mount monsters in previous games, but you were never given the explicit ability to control one. You basically just tried to steer it and not die. But in this game, you can essentially fight monsters with your friends. You can mount a monster and then have a kaiju battle like it's Godzilla versus Mothra or something. In short, Wire bugs were a great addition to Monster Hunter Rise, and I hope that you enjoy using them if you're a new player, and if you're a returning player, they're just as much fun. And speaking of mounting, probably one of the most uncomfortable segues ever, let's talk about the Palamute. Palamutes are basically dogs that you can ride on the back of as if they were a horse. They're your buddy in combat, so they also help you fight against monsters, maybe even heal you, cause some status effects. Just like the Palico, the Palamute is there to help you out. But the Palamute is different, again, because you can ride it like a horse. So why does this matter? Who cares? Well, it's actually really important because these maps are huge, and the Palamute helps you save stamina while you're running between sections on these, again, giant maps. In previous Monster Hunter games, you'd have to run and conserve your stamina, which is really annoying and not fun to do. Big waste of time trying to control your stamina while you're trying to keep up with monsters. I'm sure it made sense at the time, but now you have a Palamute, a mount, to help you and not waste your stamina in between locations. This is definitely one of those features that I wish I had in Monster Hunter Rise, because those maps are gigantic. Granted, you could find shortcuts, but still, I mean, it's nice to just be able to hop around sections and not waste your stamina doing so. You can even use items and sharpen your weapon from the back of your Palamute, so the trip between locations is now dense with things that you can do to prepare for the next fight. Palamutes were a great addition to Monster Hunter, and I am very happy that they're in Monster Hunter Rise. And I think that's one less thing that new players are going to get annoyed by. Rather than get bored traveling between these giant locations, you're having fun riding your crazy giant dog. All in all, it just feels like Monster Hunter Rise incorporates a lot of the great things that classic Monster Hunter games pioneered, while combining it with some new ideas that really bring a fresh coat of paint to the Monster Hunter series. It really does feel as though Capcom is just building on top of the series, getting rid of what doesn't work and adding things that make it better. So whether you're a veteran hunter or a rookie hunter, let me know in the comments what you're enjoying about Monster Hunter Rise. If you're about to start playing the game, let me know what weapons you're trying out for the first time. I usually use the longsword in Monster Hunter games, but I think I'm gonna try to venture outside of my comfort zone and try something weird like the hunting horn, maybe even the dual blades. I don't know. We'll see. There's a ton of weapons in this game, which I haven't mentioned because I don't want to get you overwhelmed, but yes, there are a lot of ways to play Monster Hunter Rise, and the weapons are plenty. Either way, I really do think this game is great. It's such a video game. I don't know how to explain it. It's so weird and unrealistic, but fun and great to play. So I'm really happy that I got into Monster Hunter Rise, and I think you and your friends will be too. Plus, it's a lot of fun to group up, so yeah, tell your friends to play this game. If you like this video, do me a favor and like it, and make sure you subscribe if you like videos like this, because I'm going to do more things like this. Maybe we'll get some gameplay going soon. I'm actually going to start streaming on YouTube, so there will be gameplay to be viewed here, and let me know what kind of games you'd want me to play. I'm going to probably finish Demon's Souls. I was playing that on Twitch, but now we're going to stream on YouTube. And then after that, I don't know, maybe we'll play Monster Hunter, who knows? And if you want to support my channel, the best thing you can do is share this video with a friend, somebody who's not sure if they want to play Monster Hunter, or somebody you're trying to convince that they should play Monster Hunter. I really do appreciate your time today. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.